Welcome to Spotlight Sessions, where we shine
What's
a light
your
on
story?
incredible. What does accessibility mean to you?
What's your mission? Welcome all to accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions, where we shine a light on incredible individuals and organizations and the work that they do. I'm your host, Josh Basil. I'm a C4-5 quadriplegic, paralyzed below my shoulders, and a power wheelchair user. I'm the Community Relations Manager at accessiBe and a passionate disability rights advocate and trial attorney focused on breaking down barriers to access and inclusion for people with disabilities. Today on accessiBe Spotlight Sessions, we're joined by Virginie Cobigo, the founder and executive director at the Open Collaboration for Cognitive Accessibility. Welcome, Virginie.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
I'm so excited to have you as a guest today. And let's just jump right into it. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Virginie. I wear different hats in my life. I'm a mother of two wonderful children. And professionally, I'm a university professor at the University of Ottawa. And I'm also, as you said, the executive director of Open Collaboration for Cognitive Accessibility, based as well in Ottawa, but we work anywhere in the world because all of our activities are virtual.
And tell us about kind of the work that's been done at Open Collaboration for Cognitive Accessibility.
Sure. So Open is a very recent social enterprise we incorporated at the start of the COVID pandemic. And what we do is that we have created a space that is a one-stop shop for cognitive accessibility expertise and services. And what we do is that we help connect the private industry, the public sector, not-for-profit organizations, and the academic sector as well, with people who face cognitive accessibility barriers in their daily life and want to be part of improving the environment, improving cognitive accessibility in the space they use, in the technology they use, in the services they receive, and be part of research and development. So that's what we do. We're the bridge between the two communities to make sure that people who face cognitive accessibility barriers are part of developing solutions.
And for our viewers that might not know, tell us more about cognitive disabilities and cognitive accessibility. Give us a kind of a 101 on that.
So cognitive accessibility is about the cognitive ramps that we can build in our environment. So when we think about cognitive accessibility, we think of using a language that is simpler, using words that are common, that are easy to understand, using sentences that are not too long or difficult to understand. It's also about slowing down everything to allow people to process information and process their answer as well. It's also about using technology properly to help remove some of the accessibility barriers that remain. And all that is cognitive accessibility. And of course, it's cognitive accessibility is relevant to people living with dementia, for example, people who have intellectual and developmental disabilities, people who self-identify as being autistic, as having ADHD, learning disabilities. But it's also about any one of us being sleep deprived for a while because we're a new parent, or recovering from COVID or from cancer treatment that might be aggressive. There are so many reasons why we might face cognitive accessibility barriers, and we want at Open to help remove some of these barriers.
And so I know you said that you started this in the beginning of the pandemic. What was the big kind of motivational factor that kind of jump started this?
To make the story short, as I said, I'm a university professor. I do research on cognitive accessibility and the social inclusion of persons who face cognitive accessibility barriers. And through my research, I realized that the expertise I had developed at learning how to involve persons who face cognitive accessibility barriers in my research was an expertise that was relevant beyond my research team and was actually relevant to the private sector and the industry. I was working with some engineers and technology developers, and I was part of conversations and presentations about cool technology that could benefit persons with dementia, for example. And I was really shocked by the fact that those who were concerned by those conversations were not part of the conversations. They never had a say about whether or not that technology might be useful to them and how it could be useful to them. On the other side, the technology developers were complaining about, well, we develop those technology and they don't use it. Well, no, they don't, because you never asked them if they were useful, accessible, easy to use. So it became very clear to me that I could be the bridge. I could build something that would help them connect. And that's how it started. And then I very quickly realized that the original idea to support technology development was relevant and necessary, but our services have a relevance way beyond technology development, which I had not fully anticipated at the beginning.
And while since founding this, do you have any memorable stories or events that kind of have had a lasting impact on you with doing this work?
There are several. I had conversations. Since we incorporated, we hired about 30 individuals who face cognitive accessibility barriers in their daily life. And we had conversations with all of them or most of them. And they all appreciate being part of the team and being able to provide a meaningful voice in research and development. That empowerment is something that I'm proud of, and I feel it's beautiful to support. The first contract we had was for the development of an app that is now on the market. It's called MaxMinder. And the original idea of the app was that persons who have intellectual or developmental disabilities or live with dementia take a lot of medication. And because of their cognitive difficulties, they often forget when to take the medication, or they don't follow the prescription properly. And so the original idea of the app was to develop an application that would be easy to use to help medication management. And so we supported our industry partner in developing an app that relies on very little data entry from the user. Because you can imagine that if you have to enter the name of the 15 medication you take daily, that's a lot of data entry, and the likelihood of errors is important. So the app that was developed asks questions to the user, like what's the size of the pill that you're taking, what color, what shape, and then from those questions, a short list of possible match appears on the screen, and the person can select the medication that they want to enter in their app. When our advisors, who are the persons with lived experience who test the product at Open, when they started using the app, it quickly became very clear that the app could do way more than just medication management. Like it could also serve as reminders for daily activities. And so the relevance and the purpose of the app became bigger because we had involved the users in the development. And one of our advisors now uses MaxMinder on a daily basis, and he lives with dementia, and he really appreciates to have reminders to eat, because he tends to forget sometimes that it's supper time or lunchtime, and the technology provides a lot of the reminders that he needs in his daily life to remain as independent as possible and as long as possible. And I think all these testimonies are beautiful stories to tell.
Thank you for sharing that. And I always, anybody having more and more reminders or being able to create the ability to have better experiences, and that's what I'm hearing a lot through this, safer experiences, and I love it. And I would love to know what's the first thing that comes to mind for you when you hear the word accessibility?
Fairness.
Fairness.
Yeah, to me, accessibility is about fairness in opportunities. If we remove the barriers, then we have opportunities that open to us. So to me, the synonym might be fairness.
I love that. Fairness definitely creates an even playing field for all to both survive and thrive. And what's one thing about people with disabilities and those with cognitive disabilities that you wish more people knew about?
There are lots of cliches that I could use, but I think to me it's when we talk about disability in general and cognitive disability specifically, it's not about them. It's about all of us. We might have disability, accessibility issues sometimes in our life. And when we think about cognitive disabilities, we'll all experience cognitive challenges at some point in our life for several reasons. It might be because we live with, again, dementia, intellectual disability, or other labels like that. But it might also be because we go through a burnout, a depression, we have anxiety issues, we're a new mother and we're sleep deprived. There are lots of reasons why, temporarily or for a longer period of time, we will experience cognitive accessibility barriers. So I think one message that I think is important to say clear and loud is that it's about us, all of us, and we'll all benefit from improving the accessibility of the world.
So true. And when it comes to the business world, what are some of the biggest gaps that you've seen with businesses about prioritizing access and inclusion?
Well, as I said when I told you about the story of Open, I see that businesses don't know how to meaningfully engage people who might have cognitive challenges or difficulties. They are often reluctant to involve them in the workplace or in research and development, mostly because of stigma and lack of understanding of what cognitive challenges might be. And it's unfortunate because they lack opportunities to benefit from wonderful talents. When we have a team with members who think differently, who perceive the world differently, then our problem solving is increased and more powerful. So I do see that these opportunities are really missed opportunities.
Virginie, thank you so much for your time today and being our guest on accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. I really enjoyed our conversations.
I did too, and I hope it was interesting.
It was very interesting. And to all of our guests, thank you so much for staying to the end of accessiBe's Spotlight Sessions. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us at accessiBe_community. And as always, thank you so much for being on this journey with us. Take care, everyone. Bye, Virginie.
Bye. Thank you.